that, man. Like, he's good at the Jax, he's good at the Xin Zhao, he's good at going in early, and here we are in a pick and ban for game number 3, the deciding match. And this is where we're all wishing for a game that's won by a team, not a game that's lost by a team or a player. We've subbed out both of the players that have theoretically lost games for their teams so far, and hopefully we can find a good one now between Kingzone and Gen.G. Kingzone back on the blue side, not banning anything just yet. Having a good old think as Lissandra is going to once again be the first ban, like in game number 1.
Lissandra taken away immediately. Gen.G banning the Cassiopeia.
Deft is never going to see that champion. It's just not. It's just what's going to happen. Aatrox, second ban once again. And of course,
Lucian. Wow, these pick bans are actually going quite fast.
That's because we've done this one before. And they're exactly the same. Kingzone now has an opportunity to shake things up if they want to. Tahm Kench was their final ban on the blue side last time around. Get rid of something else here instead. Gen.G might be leaving up the Akali once again because maybe they don't mind it going into the hands of Naehyun, or maybe they also realize that it's probably going to go to Rascal if they want to get rid of it as the Scion going to be the ban. So LeBlanc was the ban, and that was against Pawn, of course. And now Scion going to be taken away. And Akali, the one standing out like a sore thumb.
Yep. And this probably means that Urgot is picked up here by Gen.G.
Yep, they get Urgot Kai'Sa again if they want it. That's what they went for in the first round. The only change so far to the draft is that LeBlanc being taken out and the Scion in instead.
Yep.
So no surprises to see this Urgot crop up and lock it.
Maybe they accompany it with an Ezreal, or we'll see if Ruler wants to keep just picking his Kai'Sa, although Peanut talking a lot, making me think that maybe a jungle pick coming in here.
All right, no, locking down the Zoe to make sure that they can give Fly some comfort there in the mid lane. Don't mind it.
And now it's handed back over to Kingzone, and remember that Akali can just go top lane. She can go up against Urgot, so if Kingzone actually wants to have a counter pick onto the Zoe, they can definitely look for it.
He's got a lot of different options here that he can go for, and the Gragas could be locked in second here after the Kai'Sa to provide a whole lot of flexibility for this draft. Then we wouldn't know where the Gragas is going, we wouldn't know where the Akali is going. If this was locked in, we would.
Riven.
It has been played in the LPL recently. Jinwoo did have a pretty damn fantastic time on the champ, but likely it's just a hover here from Naehyun at the moment.
Well, we're at 8 seconds remaining. See if that actually is a Riven into the Zoe. Echo.
An odd one.
Oh,
okay, so they are going to pick Tucson's champion, so not going for the flexibility of the Gragas, just going for one of Tucson's favorites, and they did win the game that he played the Alistar in game number 1. And now we're going to take the counter matchup. So Gen.G not going to have access to the Tahm Kench like Kingzone had, but they're going to be taking the Ezreal into the bottom lane this time. It was the Braum that Life really made the matchup more difficult for On, and he could go back to it if they want to. Braum Ezreal is no slouch in the laning phase.
The Jax
is going to be banned.
Yeah, Jax being banned away as well is a little bit interesting, especially because a lot of the champions on Gen.G can actually deal with him relatively well. Ezreal gets that Iceborne Gauntlet, Zoe, Sleepy Bubble. And now Camille being banned away as well. That one is definitely a ban I can understand a little bit more.
Yep, Cuz still has plenty of champions left in his champion pool. I'd like Kingzone to ban the Sejuani so that they can't pick it. It's probably not going to happen though. Where are they going to be looking? Gragas actually taken away from them. Certainly a flex pick that could have bamboozled them in this draft, but the fact that both solo lanes are definitely very projected means that Gen.G not going to have all that much flexibility, and they are definitely last picking here for Peanut.
All right, and so it's going to be a counter pick, or last pick jungle, and a few junglers I can think about that maybe that would make a bit of sense for. Kingzone now, however, hovering the Aurelion.
Yeah, Naehyun could be playing it. I actually tried to find Naehyun's solo queue account, couldn't, as the Xin Zhao going to be locked in instead. No Aurelion Soul, but...
And Rise, LeBlanc covers.
Okay.
Kingzone, they keep choosing these types of team compositions.
It's feeling pretty flimsy with a Kai'Sa, which, oh my goodness, okay.
What?
Okay, so,
I was talking about this actually in the taxi ride over to Lol Park today.
Oh yeah.
With Mex, and we were talking about how the mid lane meta state right now, except for Akali, all the champions keep getting hit, they keep getting weaker. And often when this happens, stat checkers come back like Syndra, Orianna becomes good again because she has a better kit than you. And Lulu was actually brought up, and I've had this talk with several Korean players as well, and the general consensus is she just doesn't have the damage that she once did, and then her numbers got hit a while ago and shifted her more into the supportive role than a mid laner. And so this is really, really bizarre to see her pulled out in match point here between Kingzone and Gen.G, especially because there's not a lot of polymorph targets on the side of Gen.G. I mean, I guess you can polymorph Lee Sin when he goes in for the kick, but outside of that, this Lulu's here to just provide support for the Kai'Sa, but then why isn't it just a Karma who's still going to do what Lulu wants to do it better? Why isn't it just Orianna? You have the Xin Zhao, that's really good with the ball, offers you siege potential. Lulu doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
No, doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. I mean, pairing Lulu with Xin Zhao is something that's been done time after time in metas past, things like that. I mean, Xin wants to go in, isn't going to build tanky, so with a wild growth is going to have a lot more agency, but providing Cuz agency is not necessarily how Kingzone win games. And they can transition that late, of course. They can get the def to dive on in. He's got Killer Instinct for the shield, and then wild growth for the extra health. They can basically play a Jugger Kai'Sa type situation. But we've seen Lulu's picked so far in the LCK, and they have not worked, just straight up. And this is a very Gen.G composition. You've got all the different options. You've got Poke, you've got Siege. Zoe Ezreal has been something that's been played ever since Zoe came out. Very, very slippery and very, very strong. And Gen.G are just sticking to what works, and Kingzone are picking crazy stuff game after game. See whether it works in the match point in Game 1 today. Everyone with their voices, especially that guy. Voice is very loud for both of these teams in the final game. Aeon, see whether he can make the Lulu work this time around.
Well, I'm excited to see how he's going to try to pilot it here in the mid lane. Also interesting, Phase Rush is the rune of choice. I don't know who's I don't know who's behind these mid lane shenanigans. We got Choose Your Own Adventure Akali. We have Lulu Phase Rush. It's almost like they're doing tarot card readings or something.
Yeah,
so
I'm pretty perplexed about it as well, dude. We've got Electrocuted Kali up towards the top side as well, which is not the fleet footwork that we often see. We're going to check out these runes here. We've got some magical footwear. We've got some minion dematerializing. And, I mean, I just feel like that's Phase Rush instead of something good.
Instead of Airy. I really don't know what the purpose... Look, whoever's selling them this this snake oil, they need to just come to me instead. All right, I got plenty of that.
All right.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna have to see what the mid lane synergy is and the top lane synergy. I get it. The wild growth onto the Xin Zhao or the Akali when they go in, and then you try to give the free deal to Def as they're preoccupied trying to handle the Xin Zhao or the Akali. The problem is that Ezreal and Zoe just want to fight front to back anyway.
And they also, they don't want to fight in a coordinated team fight fashion, right? They're not. It's not going to be tanks at the front, damage dealers at the back. Like, that's just not how it's going to go. They're going to be darting in and out, getting the things done. So, yeah, that was an interesting one. Headbutt getting the pseudo stun if you're up against the wall. I liked it. Ruler is going to take the worst end of that trade. It's pretty feisty down here on the bottom side of the map.
And so far, the jungle route, we have Peanut going right for the Scuttle Crab after clearing some of his red side jungle, and then on the flip side, Cuz going for an immediate invade. Now, if either of these players end up taking the Gromp, that's where things can actually go quite bad, because then you give the enemy jungler the rubber band camp on that camp at least. So it's best to take the wolves and leave one of the small wolves remaining. That's the best way to counter jungle the opponent so that you don't cause the respawn on the wolf camp.
Well, actually, Peanut's going to take both of these.
There it is.
And Cuz is going to leave one up. So we'll see who's going to get the better out of it. As you say, probably going to feel a lot better being Cuz in this instance. Has taken the Phase Rush on the Xin Zhao as well. So not going to go for the Hail of Blades this time, which I find also odd. A lot of odd things happening. As there's the flash from Tucson. Wants to get Ruler, but trading flashes between Ali and the Ezreal certainly going to feel good for Kingzone, especially considering Hex Flash is going to be there now for Tucson.
And meanwhile, the Xin Zhao now back inside of his own jungle, eating the Wraith camp. We'll see if he paths down immediately into the golems. It does look like that is what he's intending for, as Peanut tries to come up maybe to top lane to Nevermind.
He's going to go up top lane to Nevermind. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to
Well,
take
the junglers are evenly matched now.
Yeah.
So they're arriving at golems at the exact same time.
Oh, and there was a little wolf for Peanut to leave up by the looks of things, so I told a lie. I'm very sorry. And on his birthday and everything.
Yeah. And so we can actually talk about the difference here. Now, had Peanut or Cuz left up the Gromp, and the enemy jungler goes to it and it's a level 1 Gromp, they're going to clear it, they're going to get some gold for it, but then as soon as you eat the next Gromp that was rubber banded for you, you end up getting a little bit of an extra bonus out of it. And so in mirror jungle path situations like this, it ends up being quite good.
Yeah, okay. Well, at the moment, the junglers being even means that not a whole lot is going on. Lulu doing fine here in the mid lane, but that's exactly why she's picked. She's picked so that Fly doesn't have the best time. Fly's decided to go for the Ignite this time around in the mid lane, so very aggressive choice. But you can feel free to do that, because Lulu's just going to say Glitterlands about as many times as she possibly can. And have the wave dealt with by you. Cuz coming on over, I believe, spotted on Vision that Kingzone was well known about. So I believe skirted it, actually. First dragon going to be that of the Infernal. So this bottom side control in the Vision is going to be very important.
Definitely a high priority dragon capture for both of these teams. Definitely a little bit more so for Gen.G.
Both junglers now. Full information to both teams. Lee Sin hanging around that mid lane, spotted on the ward, shoved over the wall by Cuz. Cuz comes down, clears out this ward, but does it a little bit too late, so can't get the last hit, and that feels real bad, doesn't it?
Well, so far the jungler's not able to really make anything happen, and this has been the pattern for all of the games. Although the bottom CS deficit has never been as bad as it is this game around.
Yes, 17.
Ruler, still no tier.
Yeah, he had to teleport
and he teleported back already.
With a cull.
Yeah.
So as far as conceding lane is concerned, you see that in your opponent's inventory after teleporting back. After 4 minutes, that's called "This lane is yours, have fun." Peanut coming down, not sure whether he's going to be able to find anything there. As Ruler's just using the most of his mana possible. As teleport comes in from Deft, he decided not to go for the heal like Ruler did on his Kai'Sa.
Oof.
And BF sword pickup into not having exactly the best back timing, the wave being held onto. It's everything's coming up Kingzone right now.
Yeah, this is such a terrible feeling right now. Deft is going to be able to execute this freeze down in bottom lane. Ruler, no teleport. This is going to create such a XP and CS lead for Kingzone. And the other thing that you'll notice about it is that this freeze is occurring around the same exact time that the red is coming up for Xin Zhao. And so he's going to be in close no, don't let the wave move forward. Oh, please. I can't. I just can't do it.
He still has more cast.
You're going to take over, Atlas.
Really?
No, just...
Are you off? I lost him.
No more.
We'd almost lasted 2 days. And he's already gone. Oh, no.
I don't get why you would do it. Just look at Xin Zhao's location and imagine if a freeze was being executed right now, and you know that the enemy support didn't have any priority, so the Tribush can't be warded. So, hey, your jungler could maybe just come into bottom lane. Maybe you want to make a kill or get some sort of pressure, but no, not today.
Not today.
Not today.
I guess maybe they wanted the minion wave on the other side of the map so that they could get more dragon pressure. That could have been the call. But, I mean, that's the only way that I can attempt to salvage what is otherwise a pretty horrible situation. At our control ward, also in a pretty horrible position, as it doesn't manage to clear the vision available on that other ward. So Kingzone now with control of the river are going to be able to lock down this Rift Scuttler. Ruler wants to come over and put a Q in it, but he can't. I was going to get hit by that Mystic Shot. Audacious Charge.
Okay.
And that's a bit off the page. As Ruler gets himself over the wall. No worries.
It looks like he should probably just go down immediately to his golems. as everyone in this game is, for the most part, just playing very slow and steady.
Nahon's built a pretty cool cup, though.
Athenes.
Yeah, it's going to go for the Athenes Unholy Grail. He's behind a little bit of gold there in the mid lane, but he's going to be able to make his way back up there. And this is going to be a double support to support the deft composition, with Cuz able to build a lot more damage and have a lot more utility in these fights as well, based on the wild growth and being a vessel for providing that. The problem is if Kingzone are off the page, and, you know, Tucson goes in a little bit too early, he needs to be wild growth, things like that. That's where things can go very, very wrong here for Kingzone. So definitely, when you're looking at these team fights, it's execution heavy for Kingzone. But this isn't. This is just kill a dragon, and there's nothing Gen.G can do. Peanut's top side of the map.
Yeah, and Peanut's going to be like, okay, well, they're getting dragon. I can at least go in there and try to steal away the blue, and maybe even get a few more camps to boot. The Ezreal is going to confirm that the Wraith camps, I believe, are still up as well. So now they know that, okay, Xin Zhao most likely just going to go to his Wraiths immediately after the dragon. And it does look like Peanut is interested in getting a few more camps.
He's going to be able to do so, but the Rift Herald is not available just yet. Not going to be able to go for that trade necessarily. It's going to be coming up very, very soon, as there's the Disdain. It's Peanut looking to come from behind here against Akali, his favorite target.
They do know that Peanut could be in this location. Cuz is going to get the intel very soon that his Gromp and Blue are gone.
All right, Rascal gonna get out there. Does have the ultimate available as, all right, Electrocute proc comes in as he lands the E. Keeps himself very, very comfortable, actually, as now Cuz with the health advantage moving into the enemy jungle. Scryer's Bloom available, and Tucson's moved over. They're looking for this gank in the mid lane. Fly in trouble, immediately has to flash to get himself out of there, as the wild growth on top of Cuz is good, but Stopwatch is going to be in there. Tucson special delivery, and that is first blood going to the Lulu.
Yeah, and that is a really nice tempo swing. Lee Sin was recalling, didn't even actually eat his golems. And even though they're not going to get any plates here in mid lane, we can see that Ruler has rotated to pick it up. They're getting a lot of map control. We take another quick look at the replay. Fly gets jumped on, and Nahon a little bit slow with his ultimate, but doesn't really matter, as Tushin was here as well, able to knock Nahon, or able to knock Zoe right back into Nahon.
Yep. And Tucson is able to do this in a lot of his games. Looked really, really nice right there, and we'll see whether he's going to be all right. The best part about it as well, LS, is the fact that Def didn't overextend and die while that play was being made. So he continues to have his advantage bottom side to the tune of approximately 30 CS. This is about as hard Ruler has lost ever in the LCK for 2019.
Yeah, and this is a very, very large deficit. And even though no plates are really being eaten in the bottom lane tier 1 turret, doesn't really matter, as so far, the Kingzone team composition, nothing's really gone too wrong for it thus far. And the Lulu, because her items are so much cheaper than Zoe's, she comes online a little bit faster, and that's very important when the Kai'Sa's already getting ahead. The Xin Zhao and the Akali, they're going to be wanting to fight in about the next 4 or 5 minutes.
Yep. So everything coming up Kingzone this time around feels like blue side the dream for this team. Trying their very best to forget Game 2 was honestly a disaster. But if Kingzone can keep playing this composition out the way that they are, it's a much better look for what has been a pretty messy series so far. Nahon moves up. They're looking to try and have their cake and eat it too. Taking the first Drake and then being able to take the Rift Herald is certainly the gold standard for the early game, and Kingzone are going to achieve it right here. Cuz takes down Shelly, and now Ruler struggling at the hands of Deft. If that Voidseeker had landed, that could have just been a dead Ezreal right there.
And right now, everything is just going Kingzone's way this game. They have the Rift Herald. There's still a minute and a half, roughly, left on all of the plates. So we'll see if they just try to summon it and convert it into gold.
They could do it. They could do it almost anywhere on this map as well, because lane priority is not something they're struggling to get. Maybe the mid lane Fly is getting himself to a better and better point, and he is ahead in CS. Despite falling down for first blood, his poke advantage is certainly going to be in there as well, as Cuz has moved towards the top side of the map. wanting to do his best to punish Roach. Disdain comes in, but they're just trading here in this lane. Ultimate going to be used very, very early. All right.
Okay.
The burn down is going to come in there as now Roach gets charged. Cuz coming in, wants to get the knock up. Slow comes down.
Oh!
Can he actually get any more done here? They do manage to get the stopwatch out. Audacious charge. Oh, that purge was really nicely timed. And Roach wishes he had the ultimate.
All right, and they are summoning the Rift Herald. Oh,
True
man!
Shot barrage. Cuz gets sniped! And Ruler may have helped find his way back into this game.
And that was a really big Ezreal ultimate. Able to get Ruler a kill, and he's been struggling down there in bottom, so that'll help to mitigate some of the CS difference, at least in the gold department.
He cashed in his cull as well, so that's about 600 gold that he's got that he definitely shouldn't have had access to. Exhaust that Fly had made a counterfeit version of is thrown down onto Nahyun, otherwise not too worried. Forbidden Idol completed here by Nahyun, so looking for that Ardent Sensor to make sure that this is the most supportive mid lane Lulu we've seen for a very long time. And he's going to complete it. So first 2 items done, and as far as being able to build up one of the members of his team, Nahyun's certainly going to be able to do so. It's about the opposite pawn that you can do.
And we just take a look at this right here. Roach just barely able to get away from Cuz, and when it looked like he wasn't going to be able to, he uses the stopwatch, and then Cuz walks a little bit far backwards, and then Urgot gets the shield back right at the end there, and then accompanied by True Shot Barrage from Ruler, able to kill the Xin Zhao as he's summoning the Rift Herald.
Yep, really nicely done. Picture in picture though, that is going to be a dead Akali on the top side of the map. Peanut comes in for the gank. They make it all work. Kingzone looking to trade this one for a Mountain Drake and should be able to do so with a jungler on the top side of the map. So the big objectives are continuing to go into the hands of Kingzone as, alright, True Shot Barrage. Just going to help take down the dragon.
Yeah.
The smite going to be used by Cuz to secure it.
Gen.G, they're getting themselves the top tier 1 turret. Infernal Drake, next dragon to be coming up on the map.
This is against the flow of play. Gen.G actually have the gold advantage. After that one gets taken down, 15 minutes in means that it wasn't turret plates being taken, but certainly still feels good as Fly moving on back to avoid getting ganked by Cuz. Wanders back into the river, but now Kingzone will have some one-on-one time with this tower, and Deft has a lot of damage with Storm Razor completed. Evolution on the queue. With that pickaxe being picked up means that he's got a lot of extra to put into this turret, and does so. Life comes on over though, and they're not able to complete it. Cuz not actually finding too much joy around this map at the moment. 0, 1, and 1. Warrior Enchant is complete, but you can see Peanut. He's got a serrated Dirk.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to actually just go Duskblade on the Lee Sin here. Taking a quick look at this replay. Rascal, he goes into the Shroud, but Lee Sin very good at handling Akali Shroud. Able to eventually get onto him with the Flash Dragon kick, followed up with the Fear Beyond Death.
It's elementary, all too easy up towards the top side of the map, but now Rascal does have his Hex deck. Gunblade, probably pretty happy to lane against almost anyone on this map at this point in time. Akali pretty strong on this patch. Ruler has made it to his first 2 items and now has a gold lead in this matchup. Not entirely sure how that happened. Global Gold coming in is pretty good, as well as having a cull and stealing away kills. But absolutely mind-boggling that the Ezreal is ahead when he's behind 30 CS.
Well, at this point, the Infernal Drake that is coming up needs to be the primary focus for Kingzone. However, it should be noted that with the way that the Lulu and the Xin Zhao are likely to itemize, most likely the Sterex will be the next item of choice, they're not getting the most bang for their buck out of the amplification to the attack damage and AP. It's not a full-on AP Lulu with Death Cap or Lich Bane or whatnot, so all eggs are in the Deft basket.
Yep, or in the Cuz basket if he can actually get forward and maybe decides to go for a little bit more of a damage build. Could be a theory, given the fact that he does have this Lulu who's hanging around with Cuz at the moment. Sonic Wave landing, but Paddlestar not. Means that Cuz is going to be okay and clears out a whole host of vision around where this Infernal is going to be spawning in 2.5 minutes. Got a lot of action here as this vision is being fought over time and time again. That tower is so extraordinarily low, and Kingzone really want to be able to take that one down. Having that extra map control, even though it is an outer turret on a side lane, is still very, very strong, keeping this dragon in check. See what they can do. Also, the Global Gold will be able to put Deft back in a better position. Okay. Okay. Things slowing down. Every time things slow down, feels like a Gen.G game. And you look at the nameplates, it is. It's probably okay here for Kingzone.
I wonder what, isn't Gen.Z something?
Gen.Z.
Isn't Gen.Z a reference to a certain age group?
Yeah, oh yeah, but I guess
it is, right?
It would have to be.
I wonder what Gen.G
right?
is.
I assume.
Gen.G is probably for, oh, I don't even know. I don't even want to think about it, actually.
That's a generation gone by. They've been around for a while.
Oh, man. Well.
Yeah. Are you okay?
No, I'm not. Oh, man.
This is like the LS thinking, I just probably shouldn't have come to work today. I'm not needed here.
Okay.
Nothing makes sense. I don't understand. This makes sense. Deft is getting a red buff.
That does make sense.
He's going to be able to pick that one up and still have it for the Infernal Drake that's going to be coming up. And Kingzone want to be able to try and find a fight where they can win, because their composition works out pretty well right now. If they can fight together, all that extra augmentation on Deft's damage. Got a heck of a lot of CDR on the Lulu and a needlessly large rod to boot. So she's going to be making someone real big at this point. Peanut lands his Q on exactly the wrong target. Tucson happy to soak those all day. True Shot Barrage going to tag a couple.
Whoa.
That's a lot of damage.
That's actually really nice chunk, and that's kind of a big risk. If you whiff that, that's a lot of damage that Ruler's missing in the team fight. I like that both the top laners just walk to the dragon. Kingzone, you can't just give this Infernal up.
Well, Gen.G have come over and got a heck of a lot of extra vision down. Deft throws the Q onto the dragon. That's going to leash it. And they pulled it out of the pit. This is a scary one. Roach and Rascal are going to be fighting this one out. Ultimate running onto Tucson, but that's the Drake taken by Gen.G. They just pull on back and say thanks very much for the leash. Yeah, and Peanut did have the higher smite there. I just don't think that that really was the issue leading up to this dragon. It's not like they were afraid of that. And that's a really terrible dragon to just hand over to Gen.G, as now the game is sure to slow down for the foreseeable future with a Cloud Drake coming up next. And it looks like the mid-tier 1 turret is going to be next to fall. Yeah, this positioning is not great. He's just going to get killed for free. Roach was lying in wait for so damn long. But man, you just can't afford to make that kind of positioning error. Kingzone now moving on over. They want to get vision on this Baron very desperately, because Gen.G could have made a move, but I don't know, man. Mid-game and Kingzone today just has not been a fun story.
Definitely not. This is not a... I'm trying to think of nice things to say, Atlas. I am failing.
I mean, at the moment, I mean, it's not really about finding the nice things to say, because sometimes you need to be honest with how a game is going, and the early game looked like it was in a great position for Kingzone, and then things like this happen, where Tucson has his ultimate running for almost no reason, and Peanut's just gifted over a Drake, and then intelligently, Gen.G stay in position afterwards, wait for a pick, get it, and then get more. And
I don't know what the grouping issue is. Everyone on Kingzone seems like they're on different pages when you're watching the build-up to a team fight. No one actually looks like they're synergized, and we were talking about this in game number 1. Kingzone found themselves in an extremely losing position in front of the Baron.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Brother Cuvée, they certainly would have lost that game.
Yep.
And now here we are in game number 3, same exact mistakes that have been happening all series, where Gen.G, they're not really setting these things up on their own, but really they're just capitalizing on Kingzone's lack of creativity leading up to major objectives. And so, I mean, the game keeps finding itself in this state, and if game 1 and 2 has been any sort of an indicator of what's to come, I'm going to kick back, relax, another 10 minutes, couple of core items, and then we're going to have a team fight that's going to end in approximately 10 seconds in front of the Baron.
And then one of the teams is going to win, but we're not entirely sure who it is.
He's going to pan over to Deft, chewing his bubble gum as he looks disappointedly at his monitor.
Oh man, that is exactly how this novel is going to be written.
Let me just turn the page of the script here. Hold on.
Yeah, can you find out what happens next? I'm keen to skip to the end at this point in time. Ruler, True Shot Barrage, just to scout for people. Not going to find too much as too soon. Going to get that flash on. They're wanting to get some redemption here for Dev. Supercharger, I mean, just Killer Instinct. All right, going to jump on top of him. They grab that kill. All too easy here for Kingzone. The bottom lane still definitely legit here for this squad.
And that's going to be the top tier 1 turret picked up for them. And this kill happens at a really important point of the game. They get an objective off it, and they don't have to commit too much in order to do so. The problem is that they can't convert this immediately into a Baron, as Ruler does have the teleport.
Yeah.
So any sort of a stalemate that would occur in front of the Baron, it would be very easy for Zoe to stall them long enough for the Ezreal to come back online, teleport into the team fight. So take another quick look at this. And you can see Tushin commits his flash and the ignite towards getting the Ruler down. And that is 450 gold going over to Deft and following that with the turret takedown. And, you know, we've talked about this in a lot of Kingzone games. Deft is the only hope that they seem to be having. And yet again, that's going to ring true here in game number 3.
Yes.
All on this Kai'Sa, and the Lulu is set up to try to give Deft that opening.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes it's Kingzone drafting a normal composition, and then it's still Deft having to hard carry. But this is a game where Deft straight up has to hard carry if they're going to win this game, because that's what they've built around. They've got the Lulu behind him now, you can see.
Oh, no.
Oh, that is a beautiful hook from Life as Deft tries to get to safety. Wild Growth comes in, but it's not enough. And that's another positioning mistake coming in for Deft. We've seen this throughout his career. Sometimes he's brilliant, but sometimes he face checks the wrong bush, moves to the wrong spot, and gives away something like a Baron.
I can't imagine a steal actually being able to take place, not against the Zoe and the Thresh. Box even still available. Cuz doesn't have flash. Life, can you press the R key? Yes, he can.
Yeah, Cuz, Fear Beyond Death. And that is no more smites available. Rascal gets in at exactly the wrong time. He can observe this Baron going down, but that's about it. Smites all too easy from Peanut. And Gen.G, their heads are just in it more than Kingzone's are. Able to do the right things. They're playing cool, calm, and collected. And it's enough to win this one.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. Their heads are in it to win it for the enemy team as Deft ventures into the Fog of War, isolated by himself. Nahyun looks on and says, what did I just get subbed into?
And that's two positioning mistakes in a row here for Deft. I mean, they managed to get that nice little pick off onto Ruler on the top side, but that wasn't because Ruler was out of position. That was because they had, you know, Secret Agent Alistair up there.
Here's the thing, I talk about this in VOD reviews all the time, usually when I review NA or something, where what sort of vision are you really fighting over? It's 24 minutes into the game, Gen.G can't magically flip a switch and say, hey, we're just going to burst Baron in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You don't need to rush to it in this kind of a manner. There's no other neutral objective up on the map. You just pushed in mid-wave. Can you just be a little bit more cautious? Because that vision is just luxury, it just makes you feel good. It's not actually necessary.
There's not a lot making Kingzone feel good at the moment. Gen.G fans will be happy with this Cloud Drake, evening out the Drakes for the potential Elder that's going to be coming. Infernal, going to be the next one before that. And Gen.G will be able to get this one for free, but how big is this Baron power play going to get? Because it feels like Kingzone couldn't do anything before, and now it's only going to get worse with the Baron being picked up. Life gets all the vision he wants down. That control ward's going to last for a little bit longer, but Kingzone having to move over a very well lit up jungle in order to get down to this inner turret.
Well,
okay.
An offensive redemption coming down.
Yeah, and the inner turret is just going to be taken for free. Not a whole lot that they can do about it as that Q is really starting to hurt from Ruler. He's got his Gunblade done. True Shot Barrage has to be respected more than almost any other spell in the game apart from maybe a Trouble Bubble. And Kingzone are just watching their base fall apart.
Yeah. And Gen.G is really, really far ahead right now. Tushin trying to maybe make something happen.
They do have a ward on life, so theoretically they could try and at least capitalize on that extra vision that they have, but Kingzone just don't have enough of an ability to change how this game is working at the moment. Gen.G are playing so conservatively. Probably too conservatively, but at the moment it's working for them because Kingzone are getting impatient and making the mistakes that Gen.G want to be capitalizing on.
And now with Cuz and Deft being a little bit out of position, I mean, the mid turret will fall on the next wave. The bottom turret will also fall on the next wave. So here it comes in bottom. You can already see the mid turret goes down to Roach. And here comes the minion wave that's going to also raise the bottom turret. Never mind, actually. Kingzone just gives up the position.
Yeah, I mean, if Deft takes a chunk like that, he just can't move further forward. They can't use the Acathian Rain for wave clear, and it's just all over. This inhibitor now going to be under fire. They're going to get the 2-for-1 special here as Roach has already finished that one off, and the Paddle Stars are landing. The Trouble Bubbles are arming, and Kingzone can't move forward. That's a headbutt pole, but Arcane Shift, pretty strong ability, and Rule is going to be absolutely fine in the back line.
Did Nahian just ult Deft for no reason?
Yes. Is the that's the educated answer to that question. And okay, Rascal's going to take his turn and just diving in, but it's too little, too late. Both inhibitors taken down. As far as Baron power plays are concerned, that's a pretty good one for Gen.G. I'm not entirely sure what the number went up to, but now we're looking at a game with 7 turrets to 2. You've evened out the Drakes. 5,000 gold is the lead. Deft is still strong. He's got his Hurricane completed, but what does it mean moving into these fights where Deft often just finds himself in the wrong positions? They've got Ruler so safe in the backline, and it's the classic Zoe Ezreal comp where you've got them dancing around, darting in and out, and Deft isn't going to have this clustered team fight to utilize his Runan's Hurricane and his extra AoE damage at all, really. It's going to be burst damage, and it's going to be Gen.G finding one target and providing Deft no space to play in.
And here's another really rough thing for Kingzone is that Baron and another Infernal are coming up at the same exact time, neither of which Kingzone are in a position to try to move out to try to contest.
Yeah. And it's just so hard to watch because Kingzone, in game number 1, they weathered the storm and they won a team fight that was actually very, very impressive. You know, it was a messy game. You're not going to give them an A+ for how the game was played out, but in that moment, that was very nice from them.
Yep.
This time around, though, what's happened is they had a laning phase where a Kai'Sa was 30 CS up on an Ezreal.
Right.
Like, that is the dream. And then Deft mispositions a couple of times. A Trouble Bubble lands here, gets a very early ult as Fly takes a lot of damage. Cuz flashing forward in this moment, unable to actually find anything, though, and Gen.G just playing better as a unit.
Yep. Gen.G Fly almost going down there, but not quite, and that means that using that Fruit Plant, able to restore quite a heavy amount of HP.
Yep, and that wasn't actually the flash. I thought Cuz actually used the flash. It was just an Audacious Charge, so it now has an opportunity to come in for a flank that they're not going to be able to utilize. Just better positioning here from Gen.G, so moving on back around. Baron up in 12 seconds. The vision is entirely in Gen.G's favor. Apart from these couple of wards that they've got stretched out towards there. Teleport is available from Rascal, which is certainly a positive. As the bottom wave is the one that they need to deal with.
Oh, man.
That is a very clutch Trouble Bubble. They throw the kitchen sink at Cuz because this equals Baron. And that is a beautiful play and a beautiful call from Gen.G. Fly, I mean, he just took his whole health bar in damage, but that may have just won Gen.G the game. Well, that's another great hook here coming in from Life. He immediately gets booped back as first kill goes down for Deft. Supercharger avoiding a lot of the damage, finds another one here as he needs to be respected. Peanut down to about half health, and Gen.G may just need to rethink this Baron play.
Yep, well, the pings from Kingzone now. There was one on the Infernal Drake, but now Kingzone gonna definitely be drawn back towards this Baron.
Baron's going to be removed as a threat. And that's going to be backs coming in here. Kingzone finds some momentum where they honestly, I'm not entirely sure how, but it's happened, LS. And Deft does a lot of damage, that is true, but that's not how Gen.G have been winning these fights. They've been covert, they've been getting picks, and getting a pick on the jungler and moving to a Baron is a play that should work 9 out of 10 times. Doesn't this time.
Well, they didn't have a Mountain Drake, so their damage on it not the highest. We take another quick look here And that was a beautiful execution of Cuz. And then as they're starting the Baron, rather than Life just move out in front, cast the box, and play defensively, because you can't possibly lose a smite, instead they try to go for an engage. Life gets, well, his life gets removed.
Yep.
And then, now, Gen.G, they pick up the next Infernal. Not quite sure how. I wish that we were seeing the live game, because Kingzone was in perfect position to get that Infernal.
Yeah, they should have just rotated over and grabbed it, right? There were backs coming in, but they decided that they'd go back home, finish Infinity Edge for Deft, and not worry about that one as Gen.G gonna spot Deft here, but does have the help picks available.
Oh.
Movement speed from Whimsy there as well. But Gen.G, full vision of Kingzone and Deft playing up. He has to do this because we all know these Jugger compositions. If Deft doesn't do anything, the comp doesn't do anything. And they'll just lose. Cuz, once again, potentially out of position, holds onto the ultimate here. As Peanut finds the Q and finds some extra damage. Nahyun also taking a fair bit. Cathian Rain from Deft as we're just cycling spells on top of this. Kai'Sa Roach taking a lot of damage there, and the Q did land on the Deft, so he has to back away. True Shot Barrage finds no one. Now Kingzone with a very healthy Kai'Sa are moving up. This inhibitor has just respawned. There is a super creep in the base of Kingzone, and it looks like they're just gonna have to let this inhibitor go down. Kingzone, if they don't steal away this Baron, it's just straight up a loss for them. Losing an inhibitor for free. So much map pressure, and look at this. Start up the Baron, move on off. They're going to accept this inhibitor for free as Kingzone.
They don't actually need to fight them. Gen.G can recall Urgot and have him teleport to the base, and then you stop the recalls.
Yep.
But
recall going to come in from Rascal. He doesn't have teleport. This will mean Baron goes down as well. First Nexus turret also down. The Winions playing super well this game so far, as this Baron is below half health, and that's a trouble bubble on exactly the wrong target if you're a Kingzone fan, but in goes Tucson trying to save this one. Peanut has to go into his stopwatch. Wildgrove onto Deft. He needs to be getting these free hits as now Roach in trouble. Deft, ultimate is on cooldown, but his positioning is good. Ruler, not sure what you were doing there, buddy, but now you are dead as Rascal finally gets his way back in, and the Baron in amongst all of this did not go down. Peanut, very, very low. Kingzone won't get the Baron right now, as Deft trying to jump on forward. Fly just going to be picked off. Trouble bubble or no? And that's a Void Seeker landing on a Peanut. He can't go any further forward, and Deft is trying to win this game by himself, try as he might.
Kingzone, I think, are going to actually get the Baron here. Peanut,
that's a lot of damage on the Baron.
He did heal up quite a considerable amount, but I think he's going into this blind. He's going to use,
that Void Seeker
there it is.
To land. Vision was available, and the Baron down to 3,000. He flashes into the pit. That just means he dies to death.
What?
Another wild growth comes up, and this is a disaster. We are playing some tennis yet again. Kingzone against Gen.G, throwing this one back and forth.
Someone's telling,
oh God, it's happening again.
Let's make it stop, Atlas.
This is a volley. That's a true shot barrage and a very dead Lulu. Double kill for Ruler as he comes off the fountain. Ruler so close to dead is eventually going to go down as Cuz going to do what he can in this fight. Rascal dashing on forward. Life going to go down. Oh God, this isn't a game of tennis. This is ping pong play, leaning over the table to be as close as possible.
No! Get me out. I don't know what is happening in this game anymore. The gold is almost even right now. We'll take a quick look at this. So Cuz gets hooked right there, and there's a beautiful knock-up, and you can see Deft is getting so much damage in. Fear Beyond Deft takes out Cuz. Tushin goes down just a second later. Rascal now gets to the fight after having to recall, go back, handle the minions, teleportless, and then Fly and Peanut say, you know what? We're just going to end up going down to Deft here.
I like how we skip all of the disaster in the middle there.
I can't even break it down for you.
Well, I mean, this was just everyone getting traded. You didn't know which health bars were bigger, who had the most damage available, but at this point, the Akali turns up before the Zoe, and that means that Kingzone win. But what does this all mean for now is the question, as Deft is
Wow.
diving onto Roach. He has to take a lantern as Peanut has to try and get in front of Ruler.
The gold
so
score.
That, yeah, so that Deft doesn't dive all the way back in. And oh my god, you're exactly right. It's 2 Infernals onto Gen.G. And actually right now, when the gold is this even, that is very important. You got a lot of damage availability from Ruler, who's hybrid. Going to be getting a lot there. Peanut has gone full damage Lee Sin, which I don't know is a good thing or not. But honestly, in this game, I don't know a lot. It's just so back and forth, so crazy. Elder Drake going to get soloed down by Deft, most likely, as Redemption is going to spot this one happening. We're looking for a trade, but that Elder goes down so fast. And what does Gen.G do? They don't start the Baron. They're not able to trade. And Kingzone get a buff for free.
Kingzone is going to win the game. How do you feel about that, Atlas? I'm losing my,
I mean, I feel like the sigh says it all. LS, this is
This is directed by M. Night Shyamalan, I'll tell you that much.
I watched The Happening last night,
Oh,
actually.
yeah, did you?
Yeah, it's
I think it's still going.
Yeah. As Peanuts just tagged up the Baron, I was expecting Kingzone just to continue as these shields are getting pretty big. Trouble Bubble landing on the back line. Now Deft has taken a lot of damage. Does have a lot of augmentation with these Whimsies flying forward. But man, Kingzone, they don't commit to the Baron. And their base is still getting overrun, remember. There's still super creeps on the bottom side of the map.
Last night after the cast, I was thinking of antonyms to Griffin and Sandbox. I came up with Kingzone and Gen.G.
Well, I mean, I think that they've proven you very, very correct.
So
far,
team fighting has been really messy across the board for the last 10-15 minutes. I don't know how the game reached this point. So if people are wondering how Gen.G's massive advantage just disappeared, if you take inhibitors, super minions are constantly killing the enemy team's minions, which means that you're not getting access to the gold, you're not getting access to the XP, and so for 5 minutes, Kingzone kept just getting gold and XP, and it got to a point where they slowly recovered, and Gen.G never wanted to pull the trigger.
That was a ridiculously large amount of damage with that Trouble Bubble True Shot Barrage flying through from Ruler. He does a lot of damage with that particular ability. As what? Roach cycling. His heal most likely there. Or was just panicking. Because honestly, I'd be panicking if I was in this game at this point. Hook goes wide. Kingzone find themselves some priority, but Nahun immediately has to cleanse. And this is the difference between a Zoe that's landing the Trouble Bubbles and one that isn't. You're going to make sure that your opponents are going to be without a lot of their buttons available to them. Tucson trying to gatekeep this Baron going down extraordinarily fast. Peanut can't get in there in time, and Kingzone will find the Baron.
And that Baron could potentially be lights out. When you are a poke composition like what Gen.G is, your biggest fear is Baron buffed minions.
Yes.
There's zero wave clear on Gen.G's side. Yes, Paddlestar can deal quite a bit of damage to minions, not Baron minions. There we go, hold the phalanx.
Yeah, Deft doesn't want shoes this game. He's got a Guardian Angel now. I'm not sure who his Guardian Angel is because he is the Guardian Angel of Kingzone. He's going to run on forward. He's going to have the movement speed, man. He's got a Lulu behind him. He's got a supercharger, and this Kai'Sa will be doing buttloads of damage. I was going to say truckloads, but it just wasn't enough.
All they have to do is hold a phalanx and approach the turret. Don't let anything onto Deft, and then hide inside of your minions.
Yep.
Well, okay, well, that Urgot is the gatekeeper, if I've ever seen one.
He's pretty tanky. But Rascal's going to be doing...
that's a fair amount of damage.
It does a fair bit of damage. This game has been going for 42.5 minutes.
I'm loving every second of it.
I know. Do you know what I love? I love your sarcasm.
Thank you.
That's what gets me up in the morning.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. Trouble Bob going to fly in there as Deft. Okay, this almost looks dangerous, but he's able to get a lot of damage down. Killer Instinct into the back line. Not sure whether it's the greatest move, but they get rid of the turret so quickly. Life lands the hook, but it's not on the one target that they need to hit with it. The flash out from Cuz is... All right, yep, not going to be finding it there, Roach, unfortunately. And Kingzone now just going to continue pushing. Peanut looking for the flank, wants to find Cuz. First Nexus turret does go down. Kingzone have no time for the rest of this as Deft has been slowed down. That's the pickoff though, as Rascal just launches into the backline, gets 2 for free, and now Peanut gonna be fighting on his birthday, takes down Cuz, gets the revenge. They may not win the game, but they will be able to get at least that kill. Killer Instinct onto Roach, but he will have access to his fountain and should be okay. Ruler with the Acathian Rain, not enough, as he does get the shield back. That's a bare Nexus, and that is a series win for Kingzone, but a messy one would be the